Welcome to the Morning Watch on Love 101 FM. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. A special welcome to our listeners on love101.org, and if you're overseas and on the move, U.S. listeners can access us at 712-832-8001. And if you're in the UK, 0330-332-6541, or join us via the Love 101 FM app that can be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can also join us on Love 101 FM Facebook and YouTube Live. In the first watch today, reactions to the second election debates. And in the second watch, the Marcus Garvey legislation exoneration package. For our social media question, we ask, what's your reaction to last night's election debate? We're asking you to share your responses on our Love 101 FM Facebook page and YouTube channel. And also on WhatsApp, 876-997-3125 using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll share your responses later on in the program, but before all of that, here's our quote.
All right. Morning, Reverend Toussaint.
Morning.
I quote says, there shall be no solution to this race problem until you yourselves strike the blow for liberty.
Yes, and I see that is a quote from Marcus Garvey.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the many quotable quotes from our national hero. You know, when I entered the studio this morning, Kathy, I was wondering if it was 1 p.m. on a Saturday.
I see what you did there, Reverend Toussaint.
So am I on the Morning Watch or on Sports Talk?
Definitely the Morning Watch.
All right, let us see. Good to be with you. Good to work with you in this capacity.
Yes, sir.
All right, the first watch will be back after this break.
Back to school, I'm just a chill, sir. School fee paid, books bought. Thanks to CNWJ Back to School Special, I borrowed $100,000 and paid less than $10,000 for 12 months. This couldn't miss me.
Get your child's classroom ready. Start the school year strong with a CNWJ Back to School Special from August 1 to September 30. Flow processing fee, approval within 24 hours. Conditions apply. CNWJ Credit Union. Discover the benefits of belonging.
Jamaica and its workforce are advancing quickly. Life-changing opportunities are arising. You need training and support. We are the Renewed Heart NSTA Trust, committed to providing new and emerging skills training and opportunities. Come to Heart. We'll help you claim your place in the workforce of the future.
Disasters are a reality. Prepare for any eventuality is what this season asks of we. Check your safety carefully before launching out to sea. We can't stop stand, but prepping is the key. We all have a responsibility to protect our lives and families, our homes and our communities. So turn your no into yes. Prepare our land to stand the test. Let's do this for Jamaica's best.
On the next episode of The Mailbox, we will be exploring Brotherly Love Part 2. Brotherly love is characterized by unconditional affection, care, and support between brothers or close friends. It's often forged through shared experiences, memories, and challenges overcome together. You're invited to join the conversation with our guests, Brian Beadle and Darren Summon, as they share about the bond they have developed as friends and business partners. That's Wednesday, August 27th at 5:30 p.m. only on the family station. Love 101, The Mailbox. Monday.
Make the heathen them laugh talk. No one ever.
The Jamaica Debates Commission presents the General Elections Debates in association with Scotiabank for Every Future, Kendall, The Taste of Quality, Flow, NCB, ARC Manufacturing, Water, Lasca Foundation, Pan Jamaica Group, Miss Birdie, H&L Homes, and VM Group. Hear the leaders debate between the two major political parties live August 28th at 9 p.m. It's a political must-listen event. Don't miss the General Elections Debates presented by the Jamaica Debates Commission. Watch, listen, decide, vote.
That's the Jamaica Debates Commission's General Elections Debates. Listen live on Love 101 FM, the family station.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Now, the Jamaica Debates Commission has taken steps to ensure that their sign language interpreter was Tuesday's second national political debate, or was involved in the national debate last night. And that was so after the absence of that service for the first of the three debates last Saturday. Now, last night's election debate focused on the economy. Also, the Jamaica Labour Party's debate team was comprised of Favour Williams, Dr. Christopher Tufton, and Dr. Dana Morris Dixon. The three who represented the People's National Party were Julian Robinson, Peter Bunting, and Keisha Anderson. Well, to share with us their views in regards to that debate last night, we have online Jermaine Barrett, founder and executive director of Jamaica Association for Debating and Empowerment, as well as Hermione Mackenzie, former senior lecturer at UWI, and she's also a social commentator. Good morning to you both.
Hello. Good morning to you. Good morning, my colleague commentator.
Great. Good to have you both with us. Now, ladies and gentlemen, in previous debates, only the finance minister and the opposition's spokesperson on finance would face off. What are your thoughts on the change last night in that regard? Beginning with you, I'm Hermione Mackenzie.
Sorry, just repeat the question. Who
All right.
were the people who you expected to face off?
Yeah, what I'm saying is in previous debates,
Yes.
they would have only the finance minister and the opposition spokesperson on finance.
Okay.
But the whole format changed last night,
Yes.
and you had teams from both parties. What are your views in regards to that change?
I thought the team effort was more dynamic, and what should I say? It produced some excellent debating issues. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So you preferred it than the one-on-one.
The one-on-one, yes.
Okay.
And I think also what I felt an absence of yesterday's was any economists really talking about the future of the Jamaican economy. In other words, we had each party presenting their points and so on, but I never really heard any discussion of what's the future of Jamaica's economy. That's something I missed last night.
And that's sad because it was the focus was on the economy last night.
Yes.
Right. Jermaine Barrett, your take on that?
A famous U.S. president once said in a political campaign, it's all about the economy. Politics is about the economy. If you're talking about social issues, if you're talking about any other issue, there is going to be some question about dollars and cents. That's the economy.
Mm.
And so it is my view that this debate last night was probably the most important of the three debates.
Oh.
Leadership is important, social issues are important, but again, let me tell you something. How the Jamaican economy performs is going to be inextricably linked to the happiness and welfare of the entire society. And so, for such a heavy issue, to pivot back to your first question,
Mm-hmm.
for such a big and heavy issue, it is absolutely appropriate not to just vest the responses on the shoulders of the finance minister or the shadow spokesperson on finance, as would have happened in the past. It is appropriate for you to get at least three different perspectives per team to share the load and to share the perspectives. And I think both sides had it appropriately configured. You had the finance representative, you had education there, you had you had health there, you had on the PNP side, you had Senator Peter Bunting, you had the treasurer from the People's National Party, who in her right is, although not noted publicly, is a titan in terms of business acumen and so forth. So I think the configuration was good, and you got ultimately excellent contribution. I'm not saying not perfect, but excellent, and a diverse range of opinions coming out from all the debaters in the match.
Yeah. So let me get it clear now, Jermaine Barrett. Are you okay, or are you pleased with the new format in terms of teams rather than individuals for the focus on the economy?
Yes, I'm more pleased with this format than the previous format.
Okay.
I have some critiques that I would want to levy at this kind of debate format, though, but I'll probably get into that a little later.
Well, say it now.
but I'm from, most Jamaicans will be familiar with school debating. You have 3 debaters on either side, and the debaters go up and speak for maybe 5 or 7 or 8 minutes each, and so forth. I think that there is some value in that kind of arrangement in terms of the speaker times, because the 90 seconds and the 45 seconds responses are woefully inadequate. And oftentimes, given the pressure, given the dynamism that are at play, challenging as it is almost inhumane to expect that debaters are going to be responding directly to the questions that are asked, as cumbersome as they oftentimes are, and also as fulsomely as they need to. So I think that's a flaw. I think a better approach would be for them to have longer speaking times and fewer thematic issues that they dig into.
Interesting you mentioned that, Jermaine Barrett, because I noticed on a couple of occasions that the speaker at the given moment, some of them were unable to complete the time allotted. That they had to pause. I remember, Toussaint at one stage, it's almost like it was a pregnant pause, and then he had to continue what he was saying, because for some persons were challenged to even speak for 90 seconds.
Perhaps they were just being very recognizing time as important, and therefore compressing what they had to say very well. I thought Julian Robinson was particularly effective. In other words, he finished. He was able to say his entire statement, and the minute he was finished, time was up. So he got everything well into his exact time.
Yes. Well, you came in a while ago, Hermione Mackenzie. What about the questions that were asked throughout the debate and the responses thereafter? We're going to be asking you about that, and then we ask Jermaine. We're actually coming up on a break, so let's take the break now, and we'll be right back to discuss that.
Are you ready for something mega? Spend $6,500 or more before GCT. Drop your entry in the box and you can win a 2025 Hyundai Toussaint. It's the Mega Wheels Tour promotion. April 5th to September 28th. Second prize, a $50,000 shopping spree every month for a year. Third prize, a $30,000 shopping spree every month for a year. Brought to you by Hyundai, Redstone, Heineken, True Milk, Grace, Walker's Wood, Downing, CPJ Daiquiri, and Carryburst. Choose Concentrate. Only at Megamart. Locations island-wide. Megamart. Best value by far. Authorized under Section 58.3 of the Rating Gaming and Lotteries Act. We've seen a lot of our customers make some good moves over the years. Whether it's sharing a hug with a friend you haven't seen in a long time or sharing a meal, Grace has been there. So let's keep making these moments together, because rest assured, every time you choose Grace, you know you're making a good move.
Nothing Nothing beats the Love 101 September Bonanza. That's 15% off any advertising package. That's more savings, more spots, and more reach for your business. But don't wait. This offer ends September 30. Call us now at 876-968-9596 or email sales and marketing at love101.org. Let's grow together. Conditions apply.
At Professional Eye Care, luxury isn't just a look, it's a lifestyle. Step into sophistication with designer frames from Tom Ford, Prada, Gucci, Tory Burch, and more. Timeless styles crafted to turn heads. And for the tech-savvy trendsetters, experience the future with Ray-Ban Meta Smart Glasses, where fashion meets innovation. Whether you're upgrading your image, enhancing your comfort, or embracing the latest eyewear technology, Professional Eye Care has the perfect fit for you. Visit our locations in Santa Cruz, Mandeville, Rose Hall, Bay West Montego Bay, and Savlamar. Professional Eye Care. See the world in style.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint, and this is the first watch. We are, receiving reactions to the second debate, which was held last night. We're referring, of course, to the election debates. And in so doing, we have online Hermione Mackenzie, former senior lecturer at UWI, and she's also a social commentator. And we also have with us Jermaine Barrett, founder and executive director of Jamaican Association for Debating and Empowerment. Hermione Mackenzie, before the break, you were responding to the question in regards to the questions that were asked throughout the debate. What are your views on those questions?
Yes, good questions. One of the questioners, Al Edwards, had good questions, but he had a whole discussion of his own before he put the question. What I mean is his questions were sort of lengthy.
Long run up in
yes,
cricket
yes.
metaphor.
But what's the name of the young lady from TVJ? I thought her questions were very, very, very cogent and well posed. Some good questions came from social media as well. So it was a wide range of questions and, what should I say, interesting and challenging to the participants.
Do you think that the questions focused, as was expected, on the major topic, which was the economy?
Yes. Let's put it this way, people's interest in what's coming up and, what's going to affect them in the economy. I think that came out pretty well.
Okay. Jermaine?
Yes. I think you had a fair blend of explicitly economic questions and answers at points, and you had issues that are social in nature. For example, the rural school bus initiative or program and so forth. But then most of the questions were all designed at examining the legacy, the past of this administration, the JLP, or the former administration, the PNP, and sort of interrogating it. And I think that was also helpful in terms of kind of setting up the sort of posing a positive or negative view on the credibility of either party. And of course, I liked very much how the first question that was posed was probably the most topical question in the minds of most Jamaicans.
True.
Which is, how are you going to finance that most topical issue in your manifesto?
Yeah.
The issue of the
income tax.
The income tax. Yeah. The complex. Yeah.
Yeah.
How are you going to pay for it?
How do you think they handled it, Jermaine Barrett? Both sides.
So in
that first question.
Actually, I think, for example, I just recall that a part of the question was, what programs are you going to cut? How are you going to actually finance it? I think it was rather unspecific, and I think Andreas Chisholm had to come back and ask the question, well, please answer the question about what programs are you going to cut or how exactly are you going to finance it, something to that effect.
Yes.
Which, by the way, we would have seen Robinson come and pose the very same question to Favour, not having answered it himself. So I think that was problematic. It's not full marks in terms of the answer for that particular question. I think the JLP side response was, Favor's response saying lie, lie, lie. That is potent and poignant, but it doesn't really prove to me that it's a lie. You don't just declare something. In a debate, we talk about claim warrants impact. You don't simply make a claim that something is a lie in this case and then believe that, people are suddenly going to believe it. You have to prove that it is a lie. And I know the challenge is I'm laying out a particular high bar for them in a context where they don't have much speaking time. Unfortunately, that's a bit of the conversation that's going on across Jamaica now, I believe.
Yeah. Hermione, beginning with you, who do you regard as the best debater on either side?
I certainly admire Julian Robinson. I'm saying, it's hard not to sound partisan, but I was just saying, I thought his presentation was good. I thought actually Favor's response to that first question was unacceptable to me. What I mean is, if you're telling your opponent that he's telling a lie, you must say something to show that it's a lie. Just to say lies, lies, lies is actually very insulting. You're saying to your opponent, you're a liar, full stop.
Yes.
And in fact, that was the beginning of the debate was on that nature, sort of, I would say, rather abusive comments made.
Wasn't it, Hermione Mackenzie, wasn't like a shock and awe type of moment? Because I was shocked. I mean, what could that have been the intent of the finance minister?
Well, I don't know what the intent was. I'm only saying as an audience member, how I reacted was that this is not, to my mind, a correct response in a serious debate. And I thought, why I say I think Julian might have been the best performer was because of the way in which he simply kept his ground, kept on giving his statistics, kept on giving answers and arguments all the way through the debate, in a way which I felt was calm and impressive.
So you give it to Julian. And Jermaine, who do you give the best debater prize to?
Listen, I'm torn between four of the debaters, but I'll just comment on two of them, if you will. Julian, I believe, was superb for the most part. His energy, his conviction, the passion, you got the sense from him that he was fighting for the soul of Jamaica. He was fighting to thwart what he may have considered to be an existential threat in the form of a third term in the Jamaica Labour Party administration. And that a lot of persons felt like he was shouting and he was unhinged. Yes. I feel like that was a man that was, at war.
Passionate.
And it was passionate, absolutely passionate. Love that about him.
Yes.
But also, I think Dana Dixon Morris Dixon, was on fire. First of all, one of the things that I think she did beautifully was to connect the macroeconomic numbers, the unemployment, the all of these big numbers that are abstract and isolated from people's lived realities. And she pointed to ways in which, for example, when she spoke to the fact that, in answering the question about children not attending school because they don't have bus fare and so forth. And she said, listen, I've been to schools and I've recognized that on a Friday, the classrooms are half empty. That speaks to the fact that she knows there's a sense of compassion and understanding that I think also resonates powerfully with people.
Yes. Your high points of the debate and low points, beginning with you, Jermaine Barrett.
A high point for me, I had many high points, but the high point for me was the discourse around fintech. I think that clash between Peter Bunting.
That was a high point?
Yeah, it was a high point.
Why?
Peter Bunting and
because some people that was a low point, maybe.
Dr.
But tell us why. Yeah, why was that
Dr.
high
Toussaint,
point?
Because in the political discourse that is ongoing now, we've seen fintech rise to the surface. And we heard the JLP trying to make an issue of fintech, characterizing fintech as being at a low point in the administration in the 1990s thereabout. But then we got Robinson coming back and really pushing back hard on it, and then ultimately that push was carried on by Peter Bunting. I think the setup and that kind of a pulling and pushing was, I think, beautiful and intense. I think a low point for me was the lack of responsiveness from Favour Williams, with
the finance minister.
The finance minister on a number of areas. I mean, it saddens me. I'm not one who takes pride in announcing somebody has been a loser in the debate, but she dropped the ball catastrophically on many, many points.
Um, what about personality though? Because I hold no brief for her, but persons I gather who know her know, are saying that this type of a setting would not be her ideal setting, and
Yeah,
the discomfort perhaps was obvious.
absolutely, it was. And getting into the debate, knowing her as I do, watching the politics as I watch, I know she's not the most charismatic and passionate and skillful orator, and that's understandable. You don't need to be the most skillful orator
Hmm.
to do the business of finance minister in terms of from a technocratic perspective. But this demanded the kind of rhetoric and oratory that she just was not able to deliver on the night. And you got the feeling, but she was brilliantly supported, I believe, by
Teammates.
her teammates
Yes,
in the debate. Yes.
yes. Hermione, you want to say anything on that in terms of
Yes, I
flavor?
want to say that, but I'm not going to, I agree, but she just wasn't able to cope with the debate format. And so I want to just mention before I go forward that I listened to the pre-debate discussion, and the journalist called Clyde Williams, I think, said that he expects nothing from the debate, and that was exactly my own situation. And he also said that in a debate, give bullet points, don't give paragraphs.
Hmm. And as you said, paragraph. Hermione, are you there? All right. So she has paused for whatever reason. Still there with us, Jermaine
Yes,
Barrett?
I'm here. I'm
Right,
here.
right. I hope we can reconnect with her soon.
Both by Peter Bunting
Oh,
and the Peter Bunting and what's the name of that Minister of Education? Sorry, just the name.
Dana Morris.
Yes, Dana Morris Dixon. Both of them gave us a vision of what they thought their party should be doing. And I thought that.
all right. Something is going on there with Mrs. Mackenzie's feed. Jermaine, the big question: who won the debate last night?
It
In your
depends
mind?
on what the big issues are in terms of what constitutes winning a debate. For me, at the end of the debate, just the instantaneous response was in favor of the People's National Party. Before you called, I was rewatching the debate,
Mm-hmm.
and just with a more settled mind and a more
Yeah.
critical eye,
Yeah.
I started to see multiple holes in their responses. So I'd like to say it may very well be the PNP, but only marginally, certainly less impactful than it was in the first sort of instant after the debate for me.
Yes. And I think we're still having difficulty reconnecting with Hermione Mackenzie. But at the end of the day, this is a second debate. How
Yes.
influential or impactful do you think these debates will be on the electorate, getting the undecided, the uncommitted to actually go out and vote if they can?
So, as a debate practitioner myself, debates are tools that help to shift you towards becoming convinced either way. The data suggests that it doesn't shift the undecided voter too significantly. For you to lose, for that to happen, one team would have to lose a debate catastrophically. That did not happen last night, right? It was two competitive teams. But there is enormous value in a debate that I don't think most of us, who reflect on debates really think about. The fact that there's a whole host of individuals across the length and breadth of Jamaica and overseas who are just totally disconnected from the politics. But a debate provides, or rather, it could be that people are in their echo chambers. You're in the environment where you're hearing the PNP narrative or the GLP narrative on that. You start to
Jermaine?
mischaracterize or
Jermaine, I'm so sorry. We got to leave it there. It's totally out of time. But thanks
No problem.
thanks so much for joining us. Interesting, informative discussion. And we also thank Hermione Mackenzie. Have a safe and productive day.
All the best. Take care.
Good. Listeners, the Morning Watch will return in just a moment.
Start your journey with a JN Small Business Loan with small business loans as little as $10,000 and up to $4 million. The time by JN Small Business Loan is
7:30 a.m.
I'm not allowed to go anywhere by myself. They're afraid I will escape.
See how my hand and face bruise up? They beat me just because I said I'm tired.
Me not have no birth paper nor no ID. Them have all of my documents then.
Forced labor is one of the many forms of human trafficking. To report suspected cases of human trafficking, call 119, 211, 311 or the nearest police station. A message from the Ministry of National Security.
Jamaica's gangs are like packs of rats. Nasty. They live in filth and try and drag us all in there with them, spreading the disease of violence and corruption everywhere. Nasty. But like a pack of rats, they can be eliminated. Rats. With your help. If you have information on gangs, call Crime Stop on 311. This message is brought to you by Crime Stop and their marketing partners, Lime and NCB.
Stay cool this summer with Frigidaire and Panasonic in the Singer Summer Sale event. Frigidaire fridges and freezers are now at super low prices, so you can be cool and comfortable all summer long. And with up to 40% off bedroom sets and sectionals, you save big on furniture. Only Singer has 4 months for cash and 9 months no interest. Shop today. Offers end soon.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Let's now look at the newspapers to see what Jamaicans and others are saying and doing. In both newspapers, Gleaner and Observer, JLP and PMP trade verbal blows over FinSAC and SSL at election debate. Also, Dr. Morris Dixon says PMP took a wrecking ball to Jamaica's economy. Also, Electoral Commission says only BOJ officials can verify voter identification cards. And we see also that TNT, Prime Minister, defends support for U.S. drug cartel mission. Finally, make and spend in India, urges Modi as Trump's 50% tariffs kick in. Those are some of the major stories in our major newspapers. Coming up next, we'll share some of the feedback from our social media question. What's your reaction to last night's election debate? What's your reaction to last night's election debate? We're asking you to leave a comment on our Facebook page and the YouTube channel, Love 101 FM Jamaica, or WhatsApp 876-997-3125. Soon come back.
The following is paid for by the People's National Party.
Keisha,
What?
why am I never saying at the exam?
I never have enough money to pay the school fees, so I just couldn't do the exam.
Hold on, Keisha, hold on.
What?
Saying I hear about the PNP First in the Family program.
No? What that?
It's a program where if you're the first in your family, if you attend college or university, you get a scholarship for funded.
But me already there college, that have nothing to do with me.
Keisha, calm down.
Yes.
Hold on. It no matter if you're already in college or if you just got start, you can still get it.
So does that mean that my little brother get to say that I made it?
Definitely. You're going to be the first, but you definitely won't be the last.
That sounds fun.
Sounds good. Keisha, that sounds great. Where's the man?
It's not like time come for sure.
Education is the bridge between struggle and opportunity. It is how we lift families and grow a modern economy.
The proceeding was paid for by the People's National Party.
Mama work hard, for real. She do the most to send me and my brother go school. So, the dream was always to go to university. Well, I fulfilled 2 dreams with 1 Jane Bank savings plan, you know. I further my education and I make mama proud.
See so you can make the par, travel par, graduate like a star.
Stop wishing you could. With your Jane Bank savings, you absolutely can. Jane Bank will help you find a way.
Jamaica and its workforce are advancing quickly. Life-changing opportunities are arising. You need training and support. We are the Renewed Heart NSTA Trust. committed to providing new and emerging skills training and opportunities. Come to Heart. We'll help you claim your place in the workforce of the future.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Let's now join Kathia for a look at how our Facebook, YouTube, and WhatsApp friends answered today's question. What's your reaction to last night's election debate? Kathia?
All right, Reverend Toussaint, we have three responses. Okay, from Cherry, she says, it was a very good debate on both sides and the JLP had the edge. No loud noise to get their point across to say we have done the work and yes, we need to do more concerning the economy of the country. Olga says, I was surprised that the finance minister, I think she said, means responds with lies, instead of responding with words to counteract the opposition. I chose the finance man on the PNP, and generally the PNP did well as the opposition. Miss Finance Minister, you were very weak, not your cup of tea, this debate. And of course, Edna says, let's hear what Edna has to say. One moment. Let's hear what Edna has to say.
Good morning, Watch. Good morning, Love 101 listeners and staff. Yes, last night debate was a better one than the first one. And I'm happy that they have included the sign language in the debate because I think they should never have been left out from the first one either. But one of those things, the debate was a good debate from both sides. Why them like tackle them one another do? I see. But it was a good debate. Yes, I really liked this debate last night. It was, put together, and the best speaker from me was Julian Robinson from the PNP side and Dana Morris Dixon from the opposition side. All the best to them, both sides.
All right, that's all the responses.
Okay, thank you, Kathy, and thanks to those who responded. Last week, the world was made even more aware that Caribbean American Congresswoman Yvette Clarke has introduced the Marcus Garvey Legacy Package in the U.S. House of Representatives, comprising two pieces of legislation to honor Jamaica's first national hero. Now, the package includes the Marcus Garvey Recognition Day Resolution and the Marcus Garvey Exoneration Resolution, while highlighting his contribution to the global struggle for Black self-determination, human rights, and economic empowerment. And so in this, the second watch, we are seeking to focus on this reality. And as I said earlier, the Caribbean American Congresswoman Yvette Clarke is the one who introduced this legacy package in the U.S. House of Representatives. This morning in the second watch, we plan to discuss this. I'm going to focus, I can tell you, on the whole matter of the push to exonerate Marcus Messiah Garvey. As you know, he was locked up, and last year, I believe, the then President Biden, before he demitted office, gave him a presidential pardon. But this resolution we are talking about is pushing further for his exoneration. And so in so doing, we have online joining us now Congresswoman Yvette Clarke, the representative for New York's 9th Congressional District. And we also have Stephen Golden, president of the Universal Negro Improvement Association. Good morning to you both.
Good morning.
Great.
Morning, Congresswoman. Morning to your listeners.
Great. Good to have you both with us. I'm going to begin with you, Stephen Golden. For those who do not know or may have forgotten, can you briefly remind us, state how is it that Marcus Garvey was imprisoned in the U.S. in the first place?
Well, Marcus Garvey was set up really by the Bureau of Investigation, which later became the FBI, headed by J. Edgar Hoover. This was the beginning of the COINTEL program, counterintelligence program. This is where it was refined. So he was charged with some 30 plus counts in an indictment for mail fraud in 1923. They could only find him guilty on one count. He was put on trial with 4 other directors of the Black Star Line. Yet they gave him the maximum sentence, 5 years in a federal prison. Even the jurors involved in his case later wrote to the president asking for clemency. They were bullied by the judge Julian Mack into giving a guilty verdict. The first black FBI agents were hired to infiltrate Garvey's organization. He was really set up. I mean, Garvey was a threat in terms of what he was encouraging black people to do in terms of, economic wealth creating, things involved with the UNIA and the African Communities League. And so he was given 5 years, sent to the Atlanta Federal Penitentiary. After 2 3/4 years, he was pardoned by U.S. President Calvin Coolidge. His pardon was given in the form of a commutation of his sentence with the caveat of immediate deportation. The whole act was really to get rid of him, get him out of the country, to weaken the base of his organization and to destroy his movement. What happened last year really was a second presidential pardon, which, went in the direction of sort of speaking to his innocence as opposed to just a commutation of his sentence. So we thank Congresswoman Clark and her team and the work they did. But what is happening right now is really what we have always sought, what Garvey himself had sought, was the exoneration from those charges.
All right. I want to break, pause right there because I want to bring in now Congresswoman Clark. When and why did you make this additional push to exonerate Marcus Garvey in the U.S.? Bearing in mind what was re-emphasized and by Stephen Golden a while ago, that there was official pardon granted by the president.
Yes, and as Stephen Golden mentioned, and first of all, good morning. It's my honor to be with you.
Yes.
What Stephen Golden mentioned was my motivation. Essentially, I was really proud of President Joe Biden for providing a posthumous pardon of Marcus Garvey and going a bit further with respect to his observations of innocence. However, at the end of the day, I think it's just so very important for the African diaspora, for whom the Right Honorable Marcus Garvey serves as an icon, to really air out for the American people in particular the ways in which the federal government of the time went about framing him, defaming him in an effort to stop a global movement of the empowerment, economic strengthening of people of African descent. And so, or people of African origin, let's put it that way. And the only way of doing that is through the United States Congress, holding hearings, unpacking everything that was done by J. Edgar Hoover.
Congressman Clark, I'm so sorry. We're up on a break. Sorry to interrupt your thought, but we'll be right back after this break.
Start your journey with a JN Small Business Loan with small business loans as little as $10,000 and up to $4 million. The time by JN Small Business Loan is
7:45 a.m.
I'm not allowed to go anywhere by myself. They're afraid I will escape.
See how my other face bruise up? They beat me just because I said I'm tired.
Me not have no birth paper nor no ID. Them have all of my documents them.
Forced labor is one of the many forms of human trafficking. To report suspected cases of human trafficking, call 119, 211, 311 or the nearest police station. A message from the Ministry of National Security.
Jamaica's gangs are like packs of rats. They live in filth and try and drag us all in there with them, spreading the disease of violence and corruption everywhere. But like a pack of rats, they can be eliminated with your help. If you have information on gangs, call Crime Stop on 311. This message is brought to you by Crime Stop and their marketing partners, Lime and NCB.
Imagine a Jamaica where every child has a family, a Jamaica where every child is inspired to dream, where they are loved, protected, and cared for. You can help make this dream a reality by fostering a child. For more information on how you can become a foster parent, call the Child Protection and Family Services Agency at 948-2841-2 or apply at any of our locations island-wide. We dare you to inspire hope and foster a child.
Attention taxi owners and operators in Kingston and beyond. Beamall Auto, located at 114C Hagley Park Road, Kingston, is rolling out wholesale prices on all auto parts. Whether you own or operate a taxi, swing by Beamall Auto at 114C Hagley Park Road today and take advantage of unbeatable deals in our taxi wholesale price promotion. Call us at 876-618-2781 or 876-342-4413. Conditions apply. Beamall Auto. We sell everything but the gas.
JC Grants Logistics and Travel. We make shipping easy. 5 days a week. Fast and efficient service with low rates. Book your dream hotel stay or cruise with us. Plan a stress-free school excursion, family vacation. Get expert guidance on visa applications and travel documentation. Visit JC Grants Logistics and Travel. Shop number 7, Miramar Plaza, Chandler's Estates, Maypen, and Monza, Greater Portmore. 876-599-0629. JC Grants Logistics and Travel.
The following is a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party. The proceeding was a paid announcement by the Jamaica Labour Party.
You're invited to listen to Dollars and Cents every Thursday at 8:16 a.m. We'll give you tips on how to make your money count, how to save, and how to grow your worth. It's all inside Dollars and Cents, brought to you by BPM Financial Limited, taking you higher. That's Dollars and Cents every Thursday at 8:16 a.m. on the family station, Love 101.
Hoi there! It's back to school and Bashco has it all for you! Get all your school supplies at any of our Bashco locations island-wide. We have pencils, pens, markers, rulers, crayons, scissors. Bashco has all the school supplies for all ages. Folders, school bags, notebooks, erasers, staplers. Hoi! And the prices are nice and low. Have a great first day with Bashco, the store that gives you more. Bashco.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Thanks for your patience as we went through those ads that we simply had to broadcast. In the second watch, we have been focusing on the renewed push to exonerate Marcus Garvey in the U.S. And in so doing, we have online Stephen Golding, President of the Universal Negro Improvement Association, and Congresswoman Yvette Clarke, the representative for the New York's 9th Congressional District. Before the break, Congresswoman Clarke, you were telling us when and why this additional push was being made. Please continue.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Toussaint. We know that the only way to truly exonerate the Right Honorable Marcus Garvey is through the legislative process. There you have an airing of all of the issues. We're able to unpack all of the FBI files so that we can get to the point where we as a body, a legislative body, will bring the truth to light, and true exoneration can then move forward. I believe that the Right Honorable Marcus Garvey committed no crime, and that his only crime was that of empowering African Americans here in the United States and people of African descent and continental Africans around the globe. His movement was such that J. Edgar Hoover, of course, someone who we are finding out throughout his tenure in the FBI targeted to disrupt the movement that Marcus Garvey began right here in the United States of America. And so we believe, those of us who are co-sponsoring this legislation, that it's time, past time, that the United States Congress take up this
Yes.
legislation.
Yes, and commendations. Just for those who may be wondering, what's the distinct difference between exoneration and the presidential pardon that was already given to Marcus Garvey?
Well, I believe that the pardon does not go into the innocence of Marcus Garvey. Actually, it pardons him for a crime that was committed. And so we want to make sure that globally, those of us who honor all of his contributions and his legacy bring to the fore that he was innocent when he was convicted.
And that's what exoneration would be saying.
That's
that
what
he was in fact
exoneration
innocent.
would mean.
Okay, good. Thanks. Stephen Golden, what has or what should be Jamaica's response in assisting this process of exoneration for Marcus Garvey?
Well, remember, Jamaica went through the process of exonerating Garvey and our other national heroes who were sentenced and convicted of criminal acts under the British colonial system. Many people forget that Garvey, after being released from prison in the United States and being deported to Jamaica, formed the first political party here. And in challenging the political status quo at the time, and using an election campaign that threatened to imprison corrupt judges, he was targeted by such a judge here in Jamaica, who said that his utterances, were contempt of court because it alluded to the fact that judges could be corrupt. And so Garvey was sentenced to 3 months in the district prison in Spanish Town in October of 1929, which coincidentally, coincided with the time of the election. Even though Garvey was successful in his election, there was a caveat saying that if you don't take up your seat in 3 months at the Kingston and St. Andrew Council, they would declare a by-election. And the judge just curiously happened to sentence him to 3 months at that time, forcing his seat to a by-election, which he won in absentee from prison. So that had lingered on our books up until 2011, when the Minister of Culture moved legislation in the Jamaican pardon to exonerate not only Garvey, but added also in other national heroes who had been on the books, found guilty of crimes wrongfully. Just to reiterate something that you were asking earlier, pardon and exoneration, are defined differently. A pardon means, we forgive you.
Yes.
An exoneration speaks to the fact that we were wrong in convicting you because you're innocent.
Yeah.
And for a long time, we have been reminding Jamaicans that U.S. presidents do not have the power to exonerate. They can pardon and they can word it in a way as to say, yes, we believe you were innocent, such as was the case with President Bill Clinton and the pardoning of the first black Buffalo soldier officer, the first black man to graduate from West Point ocean flipping in 1997, I believe. Clinton pardoned him, but the pardon was worded in a way in saying that we know you were set up. They had accused him of stealing from the commissary, white officers who were jealous of the fact that this black man was being commissioned in the U.S. Army at the time, the first one. And Clinton worded it in a way to say, we know you were set up because of racism and we're issuing this pardon, but that doesn't change your status on the books. You're still on the books of having having committed a crime. So what Congresswoman Clark is doing really follows up on what Charlie Rangel, who is a former congressman from Harlem, started in 1987 on the centenary of Garvey's birthday. He put to the U.S. Congress this issue of examining the case and exonerating Garvey, and it lingered for 20 years, I think, until it fell off the table. Congresswoman Clark may be able to tell us more about that.
I want to. Thanks, Stephen. But time is run out on us. I want to ask though, because there might be those who are listening, watching this program, who may be asking, what's the big deal? After so many years since his death, what will Garvey's exoneration, if it comes to pass, what difference would that make to to his life and legacy and to the mission that is still going on? Congresswoman, throw that to you.
Yes, absolutely. Let me just say that the Honorable Marcus Garvey is iconic. He is the grandfather of the modern day Black civil rights movements here in the Americas, in the United States of America, and around the world. And so we see this moment in our history globally, right here in the United States, as a moment where we need to illuminate all that the Honorable Marcus Garvey did, spoke of, and encouraged within the Pan-Africanist movement to make sure that as we go through very turbulent and troubling times, we have a North Star that guides us to victory, that guides us from this generation to the next generation and generations to come.
How will exoneration enhance that? That's what they're asking. How will exoneration enhance that?
Yes, well, first of all, it highlights the misdeeds of the United States government, which is important. Truth always illuminates. And that's where we're going. We want to make sure that this exoneration, whether it happens this year, the next year, the year after, is served to the American people, so that again, in our history is not repeating itself.
Steve Golin, you want to bite at that?
Yeah, let's not forget, Garvey was targeted in an attempt to destroy his organization. Now, the organization was never destroyed, though it was severely weakened. The UNIA still exists in the United States, in Central America, here in the Caribbean. We have divisions in Africa, in London, in other places. So this is, as the Vice Chancellor of the University of the West Indies has called it, the century of reparations. Reparations and reparatory justice is now a big portfolio within the political arena internationally.
Yeah.
So an exoneration of Garvey that exposes the fact that he was targeted, that his organization was targeted, paves the way for other questions to be asked in terms of reparatory justice. And who knows what might happen in terms of litigation, civil suits. We know why Garvey was targeted. Listen, there wasn't a problem with Garvey until he launched the Black Star Line. He had been in New York operating for 2, 3, 4 years before that. But as soon as he launched this revolutionary program to empower black people economically, it was the first time a black-owned company was being traded in terms of stock. Let me just make this point.
Got to leave it there, Stephen. Sorry, we're totally out of time. Want to thank you so very much, both of you, for joining us. Have a safe and productive day and keep up the good work, eh?
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, listeners, for being with us. Join us again tomorrow as we continue to set the stage for a discussion of topical and controversial issues. For information, how to get copies of this program, call our production department at 876-968-9596-7. This, of course, has been the Morning Watch, thanks to our producer, Elizabeth Stewart, and our guests. I'm Dylan Toussaint, returning you to Love in the Morning with the multi-talented Kathia Davis.
All right, you just listened to the Morning Watch with Reverend Dr. Dylan Toussaint. It's just about 8 o'clock right here on the family station, Love 101, and it's time to listen to Forward in Faith, brought to you by the New Testament Church of God in Bayside, Portmore.